Hey guys, I'm going to record real quick just on how to do a restriction map. I'm not going to put the camera on because I'm a pretty good little snot rag right now. So, screen save this real quick. So, you're going to get a problem pretty much exactly like this. I'm going to tell you how big it is. If I don't tell you how big it is, then you just got to add it up from one of the just one of the pieces, okay? So if this tells you it's 20, you've got to imagine this entire circle adds up to 20. So it's a good thing to always think about halfway is 10. In this case, it tells you it has an eco, but it says eco is going to measure in one fragment. BAM's going to do 3. So 1 plus 3, there's going to be a total of 4 lines that are going to show up on this circle. I'm going to start with putting a line at the top. Always start with a line at the top. So I've already gotten 1. I just need to put 3 more. How do I know which one this is? Never start with the single one. You always want to start with the one that has more than 1, because starting with the single one, now you've got to place 3 versus just placing it in the one spot it needs to go. So I'm going to start with BAM, and I'm going to label that B. It says that it makes a 12, 2, and a 6. So if this measures 10 down here halfway, right here, then I'm going to go ahead and put a line that measures about that and put B. So that was 10, 11, 12. So that measures my 12 right now. Then I need to put a 2 and a 6. Well, I can put my 2 here, make that my 6. Or I could have put my 2 up here and made that my 6. Either way, it didn't matter in this case. And the one I'm going to give you on the test won't matter either. It'll be like the bonus one that I'll make harder. Now, I've got my 3 BAMs because it told me put 3 BAMs. Now I've got to put my 1 eco. Well, how do I know? This is where you look at the one that has the combination cuts, and it says it gave me an 8, 4, 2, and 6. Well, you look to see which of these cuts is already part of BAM. 2 and 6 are already there. Ding, ding. So I'm going to leave those alone. So what that tells me is I need to cut 12. Well, there you go. 8 and 4 equals 12. So put an eco cut somewhere there. Only one, because remember, we're only putting 4. So I'm going to put eco about there. That now gets rid of this 12, right? And that turns into an 8, and that turns into a 4. And you're done. Okay? We do another one. Okay. Screenshot this for you real quick. I'm about to sneeze. All right, this says that you're going to have one band of this guy, and this one's going to give you 4. So I'm going to have a total of 5 cuts, five lines on this one. It says that it's 26. So imagine this is an entire 26. I'm going to cut it straight down the middle and make it 13. Okay. So make a band at the top. I'm going to make that hind. And it's going to create a 13, 6, 4, and 3. So straight down the middle is going to be my 13. There's the hind. I'm going to choose to leave this as my 13, this whole piece. So that means the rest of this has got to be cut into a 6, a 4, and a 3. So I'm going to choose to start from right here and go this way, because that's just, I am a clockwise person. So that always is how I choose to do it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and make my smaller band 3. Why did I choose to do smaller? Because, again, that's just how I prefer it. Maybe it works out for you to do it larger here in a second. That's for you to figure out later. I'm going to put my 3. I'm going to put my 4. And then the rest of this becomes my 6. It's definitely not to scale in this situation. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 little hind cuts. I need to put 1 more to make my 5th, and that's going to be this H paw. This is where you compare your double cuts to these cuts that are already there for the for the hind one. So the single cuts are the double, are a 7, 6, 4, and 3. So 4, 6, and 3 need to be left alone. So I'm not going to touch those. So that means the only thing I need to cut is this 13. So let's get to cutting. It says I need a 7 and a 6 at least. So cut this somehow into a 7 and a 6. Label that H Paul. This no longer is 13. That becomes my 6 or my 7, let's say. This becomes my 6. And I now have all of my pieces. I have 5 cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have all of my lines. 7, 6, 4, and 3. I know that I have these, but what would actually happen on a gel electrophoresis is, let's say this was a 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. What would happen is right here at 7, you'd have a 7 line, but right here at the 6 line, it would just be thicker. So that's how we would know on a gel that there's actually 2 pieces there. Then I'd have a 3 and a 4. Okay, so this is how I would be able to see it on a gel, that I actually needed 2 6s pieces, even though it doesn't list the 2 6s up here in the problem. It will never list that you have 2 6s. You just have to be able to figure that out. But guys, think about it. 13 it said that I needed a 7. A 7 didn't exist on the circle at first on the plasmid. So 7 and 13, naturally, that's 6. So it made sense. Okay. Let me do one more from a gel. Okay. Or in this case, actually put them on the gel in their appropriate spots. So here you've got BAM, an ECO, and a PS. So a BAM made 1 cut, ECO made 1 cut, and made 1 cut. So how big is the actual thing? It tells you it's 2.56. Or sorry, 2.5. 2.6. It is 2.6. Sorry. It tells you it's 2.6 long. So that's not what I'm wanting. I'm wanting what kind of cuts am I going to get if I just did ECO and PS. So ECO to PS gets you a 0.46. How do I know that? Because I literally went from ECO, ding, 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 to PS. Cut, it'll get me a 0.46. PS to ECO. And then what will that give you the remaining, right? So on this one, what you're trying to do is just literally put the lines on there for what you have remaining. So let me kind of clean this up. So if ECO and PS will get me a 0.46. Well, these right here already tell me a standard. That's what STD stands for. It's a standard. It's a ruler is all it is. So if I were to put a line there, I'm telling you it's 4. If I were to put a line there, I'm telling you it's 2.2. So I need to put a line at 0.46. Well, there isn't a 0.46. That's why you got to just kind of guess it. I know it's going to be there because that line actually represents 0.5. Then the rest of it, I would know from taking 2.6 minus 0.46 is going to get you 2.14. So put a line somewhere that represents 2.14. That looks good. Look at ECO and BAM. So if I go from ECO to BAM, I get a 0.2. Okay. So put a 0.2 below that 0.46. The remaining part is going to be 2.4. So I'm going to put that a little bit above that 2.2. Then if I were to use all 3, well, all 3 gets me this 0.2, 0.46, 1.94. On. So I'm going to put a 0.2, a 0.46, and a 1.94. It's just combining both sets. And then you're done with that gel. Okay, it's just like a little puzzle piece. Let's see if I have another one on here. I don't have another big. I just showed you. I don't think I have another big one on here. Let me see. And the rules for restriction mapping is you always measure your circle based on how big it should be. 20, 26, whatever. Put one line at the top. That is your first cut for whichever one you want to start with. That is not a single. Okay, I'll look one more time, see if there's anything. If there's another one I want to show you real quick. Scroll down. Let me open this one. See if there's anything on this one I can show you real quick. You're just going to get 2, just because they can take a little bit, and I don't want you wasting that much time on these questions. So you're going to have 1 in the test, and I'm telling you right now, 1's going to be a bonus. All right. So here's one you could do. Either it could be given to you where it's it could either be given to you where it's a chart, right? Or a paragraph like I've already given you. Or maybe it gives it to you from the gel like this. So here you just see what the names are. And so I'm actually using 2, right? And then there's my double. So you just follow what it says. So this hind only left 1 fragment. So that tells you it's the 1 cut, and it made a 50. This eco made a 1, 2, and a 3. So that tells you my double will have a total of 4, and there they are. So this one actually already tells you, right, how they're going to be cut. 20, 15, 10, and 5 out of a total of 50. So and the answers are right there, but I'm just going to show you. So you start with your circle. The whole thing's 50. So right here is my hind, or my eco. Eco, it says, needed a 30, a 15, and a 5. So if this part down here represents 25, so I'm going to cut here and make that my 30. Make this my 5, and make this my 15. I know in my double, my 30 doesn't exist anymore. So if my 30 doesn't exist in the double, that means I'm going to cut somewhere here. I now get a 20, a 15, and a 10. Well, 15 and a 5. 15 and a 5 were already there. So that means that 20 and 10 have to show up somewhere here. So I'm going to go ahead and put my hind there, and this became my 20, and this became my 10. And you're done. Okay. Okay, I can post. This one only shows you that one little thing. And I'll give you one more. We'll do one. Uno momento more. Because then I'm done. I'm so done. Okay. All right, start with my circle. How big is my circle? It tells me it's 40. Eco has 1. BAM has 1, 2, 3. So them together, I'll have 4. So put my cut at the top. Same rules apply, same steps. Which one is this? This is going to be BAM. Why? Because Eco only has 1. BAM needs to be a 24, a 12, and a 4. So right here will be 20. So I'm going to go ahead and push over here and make that 24. So that became a 24. I need to now make a 12 and a 4. So I like to make them small first and the rest of it big. There are my 3. Now comparing, I know my 24 doesn't exist in the double anymore. So that piece isn't going to be there. So I need to make that a 16, a 12, an 8, and a 4. Well, 12 and 4 already exist. So 16 and 8, what does that equal? Oh, look at that, 24. So put my cuts somewhere in this spot. I'm going to choose to put it about there. That looks good to me. Label that equal. That becomes 16. That becomes 8. And you're done. Like I said, those will be the ones that you'll see on the test. I'll give you a more complex one. Probably one of those that has like 3 enzymes for the bonus. So you either try it or you don't. I would always suggest at least try it, you know? All right, guys, I'm going to say I'm done. Calvin, John, who was it? Olivia, Maggie, Megan, I think all of y'all. Yes, I saw your voicemail, saw y'all call. I was laying down. You'll be fine. Okay. Chapter 14 is vocab. There's really not a whole lot that I can really interplay the words. It's, polarity. How does that affect the development of an organism? Cytoplasmic determinants. How does that affect? Well, it affects the polarity. I can't really do a whole lot of intertwining of the terms. It's just the terms are the terms are the terms. It's chapter 13 where you'll have to know the restriction enzymes and be able to do the maps. It's not going to be a very long test because there isn't really a whole lot of that I'm going to be able to do. And so, all right, talk to you later.